I hated this movie. Worst movie I ever saw. Most disturbing was the applause from the audience at the film's end.
Anyone who rates this 1 star or more has never read one of the comics.
Let me think. No good. X-Men fails in its bid to entice viewers into some general interest. The action looks unrealistic, the plot merely stupid, and the acting abysmal. A complete waste of time. Even typical Xers will find fault in this ridiculous film. X-Men the movie. Don't see it.
Boring. The struggle of good versus evil with a load of special effects. If this was a children's movie, I wouldn't have commented on it, but everyone is acting so seriously in this movie. Again, I am afraid it is meant for ages 13 and above too, like The Matrix. I completely and utterly disliked every boring little scene from beginning to end. No fun. No substance. No originality. There should be a separate imdb rating for American and European users, so I won't get lured into crap like this by high ratings.
Not that great of a movie. I watched part of it and it was not for me.
A big old pile of cack. Great for kids, but anyone with a mental age of over 16 will find this tedious drivel a major disappointment. Ian McKellen, what were you thinking? How to spend the lovely fat paycheck, no doubt, and who can blame him?
Yuck. Not the X-Men I grew up with. Get the costumes right for starters. Why does Hollywood feel they need to change something that isn't broken? Just produce and give us content we want.
It's really awful. Vote 1. I'm very surprised about the voting of this film. I think this kind of cinema is really awful. It's the most boring movie of the year. I don't like nothing this film and I voted 1. And I recommended this film for the Americans, with its awful movies, and the Europeans, with our great movies. Viva el cine europeo, fuera el cine americano.
I know it's been out a while, but I am still that mad. Okay, first of all, to all the reviewers that are claiming that this movie stayed true to its roots. You have clearly never read an X-Men comic. This is the worst thing to ever happen to the title X-Men that I have ever seen. This movie was a disaster. Bryan Singer needs to be punished for what he created here. The only thing he got right was Patrick Stewart as Prof X, and yes, I blame Singer for the whole thing because as the director, it was his responsibility to make choices and deny choices, which as far as I can tell he did using a magic 8-ball. His punishment should be that he will be taken to an empty field and tied to the ground. Then all the world's X-Men fans will begin to stack their boxes of X-Men comics on top of him until we hear the pop.
Unwatchable crap. Has the look and feel of a made-for-TV movie.
No, just no. X-Men, released in 2000, is corny and plain dull. It is like a throwback to 1980s movies. The special effects are lame. The storyline and music to go with it are just terrible. The acting poor to say the least. My goodness, this is a shockingly bad movie. There is nothing entertaining about it. The producers of this movie are in a retro time warp, and it just does not work. The acting is as bad as the script. Oh dear, oh dear. Why was this film made? Has Marvel Movies tried to self-destruct with this pile of cinematic crap? 1 star out of 10, only because I cannot give it 0.
The sin of boredom. For whatever reasons, a film might be good or it might be bad, but no film has any excuse to be boring, and X-Men would have to be the most boring film I've probably ever seen. It had the ingredients for a great film, and Bryan Singer's The Usual Suspects was probably one of the best American films of the 90s, but somehow the result was boredom and apathy. Ho hum. Avoid it.
I like superhero movies, but this was probably the dumbest one I've ever seen. Full of cheesy lines and cliches. I hope the next ones are better.
Cool good to get started.
Of course, the premise to this story is the fact that evolution mutated all of these humans to have superhuman abilities. That goes directly against God's word. However, they do acknowledge God, or the fear of God. But it is somewhat mockery in a way. But as far as the rest of the film, it was a good setup to the sequel and entertaining throughout with great special effects.
The costumes are bad, the story lame, the actors don't know who are they interpreting. Bad movie.
Has a great opening scene then quickly devolves into shit.
Smart and classy, but also a little too dry and normal.
As bad as George Clooney's Batman and Robin. I didn't think another comic book-based movie could be as bad as George Clooney's Batman and Robin. But I saw it last night when I wasted my time watching the X-Men. This movie is in a word. Dreadful. The dialogue is extremely weak, the acting is average. The only thing that is good in this film is the eye candy, the effects. But even the effects just can't make this bad film worth the premium price of a movie ticket. Hopefully there won't be money wasted on a sequel.
Awful, nul, lamentable. I was not waiting for a clever plot, but only for good special effects. The plot was less than bad, and the special effects sequences together are not new and do not represent more than 15 minutes of the 90 minutes of enjoyment. The characters have no consistency, the plot is weak, predictable and targeted to 3-year-old kids, the open gate to a second film, makes us laugh and nobody will go to see it. The dialogue are absolutely ridiculous. I only wanted to leave the theater and go back home to play Blade Runner or Starship Troopers on video. In France, the more people speak about this film, the more they go to see something else. Very surprising that it is considered to be number 140 out of 250 best film. Must be because most of the voters are not French.
Comment what you think?